5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It is lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 264 is titled Kirra and Tyler. Tonight, you get to meet Tyler and Kirra Mitlo. 1 year married, physically fit, and emotionally well-trained, they are a fantastic young couple. Is everything as easy as it seems? We'll be talking about that at the table this evening. So pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take a relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it'd be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is lunchtime in Rome. They figured it out.
Yeah,
we never
quick.
tell the people who join us at the table that that's coming.
Should we, or should that be one of the things that is like a test of your...
Because they picked up on it quick.
They did pick up on it quick.
Quicker than most.
They're
We're
quick
young.
learners. They're young.
Also,
It seems like, things are going well.
But are they?
But are they? That's
We
the
will
question.
find that
That's
out.
what we're going to dig into
Hey,
tonight.
Eric is on tech tonight.
Hey, Eric.
He's waving for all of you who are listening at home on your favorite podcast app. And Chris, we just excused him this week. Give him a little rest time. He's trying to get to the holidays. I don't know. He said he was doing well, though. So that's good, because he was dragging a couple weeks ago. What was he doing?
Dragging a couple weeks ago.
Yes. So I have two things to share very quickly. There's a lot I could talk about. Moving real fast with the book now.
Yay.
We're actually going to have a podcast episode, several actually, about the book. My marketing team has got me my podcast content calendar, and I had to sign up for Constant Contact, the email thing, which they're aggressive. I mean, they call me three times a day, and bless their
You mean
hearts.
the constant contact people?
Okay.
But
They're onboarding you.
They are. But I've got people. So don't call me. Call Rachel of the day. Rachel, as I call her, my marketing director.
Rackle.
But we're not going to talk about that.
All right.
I bought new shoes, tennis shoes, 3 weeks ago. And I have everyday shoes, and I wear them all day, every day, and that's what I do. And I don't untie and retie. I find the perfect pressure, slip them on, slip them off, because I'm not exercising in them. 3 weeks in, I can't get the pressure right. Left one's a little tight, right one's a little loose.
You sound so much like George Costanza's father.
Frank,
Just, I can't get the pressure right.
pressure isn't right.
3 weeks.
I actually added I went through one more eye hole because I was also clicking the tips of the laces as they hit the floor.
Oh.
So I had to tighten that up, and they're sliding a little bit. I'm having some problems with these shoes.
Different brand or
Yeah, New Balance. I bought them at DHS, maybe.
Here's your problem.
Shoe Warehouse. Anyhow, because they have wide. I'm a 9.5 wide, but it's been a burden.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
You know what else is a burden? Rachel's passion for her work. She loves her job. She loves the babies, 3-year-olds at school for the deaf. And I love, like last year, the great quote was, honey, what's that? We'd play, what's that stain? Because she would come home with a stain.
Yeah.
And the one was so-and-so's neck juice.
Yeah.
One of her kids had a trach and it
Delicious.
leaked on her. And I was like, wow, neck
Where's the
juice.
sound effects?
Yep.
Ooh.
We got a soundboard that has like 6 generic things, and we do it for fun. Anyhow, yesterday, hey, honey, you had Monday off for Columbus Day.
That's right.
How was your day back? And she said, well, Billy sat on my face, which smudged my makeup, and then a goat ate my sweater. Then we had to go to lunchtime, so I smelled like SpaghettiOs for the rest of the day.
That's a day.
It's normal.
There was an impromptu. Well, it was a scheduled petting zoo, but they didn't know about it, and so she was holding the kid who had sat on her face and smudged her makeup, and then the goat came up, and so she had to keep the kid away because he didn't like it. But then, and she only had one hand, and she couldn't. And
to
so
battle
then
the
the
goat.
goat chewed her sweater while she was wearing it.
I'm interested to know how she got herself into a position where a child would sit on her face.
You'll have to ask her. So the beauty of it is I said, honey, how was today? Did a goat eat any part of your clothing or anybody sit on your face? She said, no, but Sally peed on my feet, so.
And Sally's a cheetah for some reason.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
No, she was Sally. They've been working on potty training, and Sally had held it in for quite a bit, and they went to change Sally's diaper. And so, but the beauty of Rachel is not only, and she had just washed her tennis shoes over the weekend, is Sally peeing a river up, over, and then down onto Rachel's shoes, but they have to cheer that she waited for the diaper to be off to reinforce that's when we pee while she's being urinated upon. So those are my
She
updates.
gets paid a lot too. To
She gets paid better than a lot of people think,
Yeah.
but still
No,
not as it's a highly specific job.
yeah.
Like
Sure.
like
Yeah.
she talks about like when she feeds them. Now mind you, Rachel in food. Like there's very little she likes.
Sure.
So like when they have like pierogies, she can't stand pierogies, and the kids love the pierogies. Well, 90% of these kids are completely deaf. Do you think they're quiet eaters? Oh, and like one kid gets Greek yogurt sent in every day.
yeah.
So it's just about room temperature Greek yogurt.
Oh no.
It's delicious.
For those of you not with us live on YouTube, Kirra just threw up.
I almost took the headphones off.
That would be great. We've never had that. So that's my update. Brian?
Yeah, I had a really nice weekend. It's been a blur for me recently. Last week I was in Rhode Island, Connecticut,
What were you doing in Rhode Island, Brian?
Massachusetts,
love this.
Long Island. I was at a trade show.
Oh, for what?
The Northeast Ice Association trade show.
That's awesome.
Yep. And I was there as a vendor. It was the first time I've done something like that as a vendor or participant, I guess. So it was a big boy trip. Really productive, but very much on the go.
How many Italians?
In the ice industry?
Yeah.
All of them.
Really?
No, it's no.
Because like you showed us a picture of the one guy, and I'm like, that's who you would think would be at an ice convention. The guy's like, I got ice. What kind of ice you need? Like,
What do you
Now,
need it for?
Was it all commercial ice, or was there some like more niche type ice products?
So it's all commercial. It's a lot of companies that produce ice, like they manufacture their ice. But like my guy in Long Island, he does all different kinds of ice. He does ice sculptures. He does, like boutique drink ice, like balls and spheres and stuff like that. So, but for the most part, everybody that was there is a manufacturer and a distributor.
Interesting.
Yeah,
there's a lot of jobs out there.
and so
And what were you selling? Just because I don't know if they know.
like a end-to-end routing and delivery software. So I've working with a company in Texas, spent the last couple of years, really this past year, it's come to a head for fulfillment, creating it, implementing it. My guy in Long Island is using it. He used it all summer. So he kind of opened the door for this trade show, because now we're at the point where now we're pretty confident we can take it out and sell it to other people, right?
Nice.
So we're
Oh,
at that
wow.
spot. So yeah, that's what this week was about. I made some really great connections without getting too far into it. I had a really, really cool opportunity appear yesterday, just out of nowhere. And yeah, it's like one of these things where it's like, this is really cool how when you're in God's will, sometimes you're in God's will and it's terrible. And other times it's like, wow, that's like, I couldn't have made that happen.
Yeah, like
you know?
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in God's will.
They were.
They're also about to be thrown into a fire. Right. So it's not always peaches.
It's
and
not
cream.
always, but then there's times where it's like, this is, I couldn't have made this happen. You know what I mean? Like this good thing or this potentially amazing thing. And you guys are a testament to that. But anyway, so that's, I was on the go all last week, got back Thursday. And then, Abby, my daughter, 12 years old or 13 years old now, she got her nose pierced Friday afternoon. I went and took Ethan, my son's senior picture, some of his senior pictures. We were going to get a photographer. Eric was actually going to do it. But then I thought, you know what? This Pixel phone of mine takes really good pictures. So Ethan and I went out. And
where did you send your $300?
to nowhere, to my nowhere.
Because that's what we did.
Oh,
We just spent lots of money to get pictures. Go ahead.
well, we actually got a quote probably about 2 months ago from a professional photographer who does these, and she does other things like headshots. I mean, like it's professional. $3,000 to $10,000 for her.
I got a deal.
Yeah, you got a deal. I got a better deal.
Free.
Yeah. So, and it was really cool because like we took some really good pictures of Ethan. But I got to think, like, what an amazing opportunity for me as a dad to be able to spend that time with this kid, to be part of this, big deal. Like, it's his senior year, and I get to spend time with him, and we had fun. Like, we had a good time, and it was very unique, and I was very grateful for that. Then we went out and played hockey Friday night, and I beat him. We played head to head. He's a goalie, I'm a goalie, and he's playing with the big boys now out at Murraysville.
Nice.
And yeah, I beat him. And on Friday, he got accepted to the second college of his choice. So he hasn't heard back from the first one yet. So Friday was a big day. Like,
There's a lot going on.
Seeing Abby-
piercings,
seeing Abby get her-
pictures,
yeah.
and there's no P for college. Proposal confirmation.
no, I was trying to get there. And then Saturday, we went and honored Jay at the Hall of Fame
I should have talked about
banquet. You were inducted as a Penn Hills Hall of Fame sports guy. That's
what
the
they call
official
them.
name of it.
That's exactly it. It's a
Yeah.
little wordy on the plaque.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it was
the point across.
It was a short 4 hours evening,
it was
or
still-
5 hours evening.
Well, and it was still the fastest induction ceremony we've ever had. 8 individuals, 2 teams. Each individual gets 5 minutes. Teams get 10. And the one time, like the old basketball coach, he went 45 one time.
oh, by himself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
And like the football teams last year, they went 28 at least. And they started off by saying it took too long for them to get inducted, and they were upset by that. And I'm like, you're starting off your acceptance speech by slamming those. So
Yeah.
I actually had a shot clock
Yep.
in the back of
I'm
the
so
room
grateful
counting
for that
down
clock.
from 5. And I had Joe with a Bluetooth speaker that at the 5-minute mark, it would start applause, and he was just going to make it louder and louder.
So smart.
Yeah.
But then the Bluetooth disconnected. But only one person went over.
Yeah,
for like
most
1
people
minute.
stuck to it.
But
Yeah.
we told Bella, I was like, hey, we really banged that out. She was like, that was fast. I was like, yes, it was. One
Yeah.
guy goes, I don't really like public speaking. And to be fair, I don't really like people at all.
Yeah.
And Bella goes, he was real for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Big weekend for you.
big weekend. Big, really big week and a half. And I will kind of end what I'm saying here by I was watching a Joe Rogan clip yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was people talking. There were 2 people he had on his guest talking about how the food industry has been completely sabotaged, and starting in like the 40s. But they kept saying this phrase, which I thought was fantastic. They were talking about high fructose corn syrup.
Sure.
And the lady was like, "So we're 3D printing body fat." And I love the visualization of that term.
That's awesome,
3D
yeah.
printing body fat. Like we're just eating all this sugar that
Oh,
does.
I thought you were talking about like the manufactured meats.
No.
Because I'm like, well, they're doing why are they going right to the fat?
What high fructose corn syrup does
Yes.
is it leaves you wanting more high. It's an addiction. And the other thing she said was, after the cigarette like R.J. Reynolds,
Oh, yeah.
after they got sued and everything, they went and purchased all these food companies
Nabisco, not Procter & Gamble,
and took
but
all their
Post.
food scientists and made them all these food scientists were like, let's see how we can make this food much more addictive. And so starting in the late 80s and early 90s, you had all this processed packaged stuff that became like on steroids as far as addiction. However, my takeaway was we're 3D printing body fat. So it's one of those things where it's like, now when I eat something that has a little bit of sugar in it or high fructose corn syrup, I'm like, oh, I'm 3D printing body fat. Maybe I shouldn't eat this. It's like an
a good
aid
phrase.
to help
Yeah.
me.
They should
So how are
never
you
touch
guys?
cigarettes,
From Florida?
They are.
What?
And that's great. No, but we want to thank a few people first.
Let's thank
Because
those
even though
people.
you guys are at the table, we have a few highly select people who sit at the head of the table each and every week. And that is, of course, Groot from the Hooked on Jesus podcast, who gets a double portion of sitting at the head of the table because we neglected to point out that he was sitting at the head of the table for a good 2 months. Larianne, Bethany Jaworski, Mary Lynn, Ashley, and our good buddy Breaking 90 out there in Nebraska. Big week this week, Breaking 90. IU versus Nebraska. big week. Nobody else cares, but
It's
he
huge.
And
It's a huge week.
But we have Tyler and we have Kirra. And did you like that I gave Kirra first billing in the intro?
Yes.
Even if it was awkward to then go, so Tyler and Kirra.
Yeah,
In the next
as I
line.
was reading it, I was like, yep, yep.
That's how it is. So, full disclosure, Tyler is my nephew. He is Tommy and Jan. Jan.
Jan.
That's normally the
Sorry.
line.
A little chant, yeah.
Still waiting to have Jan on. Do you guys know her plan to being on?
I think she'd be on as soon as you asked.
Not true.
I'm just kidding.
No, she's wanted to be on, but she says we have to block out a whole month. Four different times just to get out all the emotional
Let it,
needs
maybe 2.
and everything else. No, we could have your dad on for 5 minutes.
Sure.
It's like, we're good.
These emotional things. Okay,
We're
great.
good. Just like I said, we have to have General Big Guy back on. And he goes, well, you need some more facts, logic, and reason. But he was on. That was a good guest. But Tyler's with us, and he and Kirra are married now just barely.
This week.
No longer newlyweds.
Congratulations.
Made it.
Are you no
Yes.
longer newlyweds? Is it a year or is it 6 months or what is it?
You know, somebody called us a newlywed the other day.
I'd say a year.
Year?
Yeah.
You're pros
Yeah.
now.
9 months.
Well,
you're
I
like,
don't know about
yeah, we're still
that.
new.
Yeah.
A year.
So they're
We're
here
vested.
to share their stories. They're both quite dynamic. I mean, in the beginning, I said, is everything as good as it seems? It's not like I know or I'm searching for anything, but I think predominantly when people look at you, they're like, oh, it's the perfect couple. They've got everything going on. They're both gorgeous. They're in shape. They live in Florida. They're on Instagram all the time and everything's great. And it's like, they're real people. And so that's what we want everyone to get to know, these unbelievably awesome people who are believably awesome.
They are believable and believably awesome.
I would say so.
Yes.
So what I want to do is let's just start by giving the elevator story, the backstory, summary of your life up to meeting each other.
Sure. You want me to go first? I'll go
I
first.
have a shot clock, and if you go
Yeah,
over
shot
5
clock.
minutes,
Give me-
I'm going to applause.
Well, Jay,
Fill me in.
I grew up in a middle class family, and
That's great.
you know,
Sorry.
people cared about their yards.
That's such an inside joke. It's unbelievable. Half of the people right now are dying laughing, and half are like, well, that's nice. Middle class. Sure.
It's
You
true.
know,
though.
you know.
I did. You know, I grew up in a normal middle class family.
You grew up in the Plum House, right? You never lived anywhere else.
Yeah, I think I had like 2 weeks, and
Crestmont.
yeah, no, Pop's old house.
Oh, yeah. That was
there, yeah.
awesome. You lived,
Yeah.
So wait, we lived together. Maybe I didn't live there then.
Same address.
Point of the story is.
Yeah. Yeah, lived in Plum Borough my whole life. You know, younger brother, older sister,
Sure.
parents, working hard.
A very non-traditional nuclear family. Do you
Sure.
know what I mean? Like on the one hand, it was a nuclear family. On the other hand, you had a dad who ran a chaotic ministry.
Yeah, for a lot of it. Yeah, sure.
Sure. You know, Maggie, a little different older sister, dealing with her
Sure.
struggles, stuff like that. And then your best boy, Hunter.
Right. And yeah, I mean, it you know, special needs sister, ministry father, and so not super typical, but yet at the same time, I had a pretty typical childhood. I mean, I played every sport imaginable. It's like I wasn't held back, you know.
Nope.
I played every sport. I played instruments. I was in every school function you could possibly be in. And yeah, I mean that was my childhood kind of at a glance.
Selfish question. Do you ever think of your time on the rifle team?
Yeah, actually, I was just talking about it recently.
Tell everybody
Yeah.
just that experience.
Ninth grade, my school had a rifle team. That's what happens being out on the edge of the suburbs. And I joined. I've hunted my whole life, so it was an interest. I've shot guns my whole life, and so I did it my 9th grade year, and I was pretty darn good at it.
Like really good. Like you're
Yeah.
being humble. Like
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
like like the coach had some
Yeah,
experience.
the coach was, we had our team guns that were supplied by the school, and they were okay guns, kind of bottom of the barrel. But he pulled my parents aside once and like gave them a talk, like, you should seriously think about getting him a better level gun because he could totally be Olympic level.
Were you allowed to bring one to school?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Really?
Yeah, you had to like transport it to that, secure
Yeah,
locker
there
area.
were some bureaucracies involved, but you could do it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
And then did you get recruited by the SEAL team or the snipers?
No.
That we know of,
Because
that we
when
know of.
in ninth grade, I'm doing well and whatnot. The kids on the team were just the absolute worst.
Yeah.
And made it not worth it. And so I
Oh,
quit.
so you were that good, but you just couldn't deal with the.
I did 1 year.
drama.
And I wasn't thinking forward enough to think, well, they're juniors. But I do one more
I just
year.
have to endure 1 year. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it was a.
And
that
if
was
I
a
can,
fun-
I might just shoot these guys. No. Yeah,
that was a fun phase. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder. It's what you said just recently. You were talking to.
Oh, just talking about it. I think to Kirra, actually.
See,
Yeah. We talk a lot.
That's great.
And then you went to 15 different colleges.
Yeah, no, I had a collegiate tour, you could say. That also involved some collegiate athletics. I was a
Baseball player.
Yeah, I played some college ball.
But you have to explain why that's funny.
So I played baseball as a kid. I think I stopped 12 or 13 years old. I was pretty good at that too. Just wanted to stop. I remember having a conversation with my dad in the bathroom, telling him I wanted to quit, and he was a little disappointed. But I just had to do it. So,
Dad, I'm committed.
to quitting.
exactly. I didn't quit actually. I just didn't play the following season. And so then I end up at CCAC Boys Campus, and I'm going to class one day, and I see a sign for baseball tryouts. I was like, well, pretty athletic kid. I might as well give it a whirl. And so there was a guy through my church at the time who was somehow connected, and he actually played professional ball, I think for the Blue Jays, and talked to him, and he would take me to the fields every once in a while, and we'd do some throwing and some pitching, and I ended up making the team. So I played 2 years there.
I did those too.
Yeah, 2 years. I believe both fall and spring ball. I had the highest contact percentage on the team, not the highest batting average.
You hit the ball. All right, where it went. That's highly variable.
Exactly. Yeah, so pretty diverse. I mean, lots of music, lots of sports, lots of lifting, bodybuilding, strongman, everything. Always doing something.
Didn't you get into that stuff somewhat recently? Like
I had a return to it.
Oh, you had a return to it. Okay.
Yeah. I did a bodybuilding show my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And then had a fitness hiatus, I guess you could say, for 4 years or something like that. And then came back to it.
Which is not to say you were ever not fit.
Yeah.
To your standards, sure.
To my standard, sure.
To the average American, you're still at 95%.
Sure.
There is the last weekend I had to pick Bella up and bring her back for her fall break. And both times when I was leaving her dorm complex, the athletes housing, upperclassmen is across the street. And both times there was a guy giving a haircut. And I was like, oh, that must be the Mew barber, the Mercyhurst University, because he was the shoe barber.
That's right. Yeah.
Seton Hill
My
University
time at
barber.
Seton Hill. Yeah. And Slippery Rock, actually.
Oh, that was
You
the
went
Sru barber.
You went to CCAC, Slippery Rock, Seton Hill.
Correct. Yeah. Back to boys for a little bit. But,
Okay.
yeah.
He wanted to make sure he accrued as many student loans as possible.
That's right.
Got to have that
That's
anchor
right.
without the diploma.
Well, and the credits are somewhat
They're there
different.
somewhere.
Yeah, they're-
Yes. I
you
wanted
want-
a
you want different
variation of
flavors.
interest rates also.
Yeah.
On the loans.
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I've been through lots of different types of schooling. I have had all different types of careers up to this point. Just done a lot lot
Lived a busy life for
Done a lot, yeah.
29.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Real quick question, just random. What was good frozen pizza when you were growing up?
I don't know.
Don't have any?
I'm
was
sure I had it.
What was
but
the home beverage of choice like if it was special? Like were you like a Kool-Aid family, Crystal Light?
No.
Sunny D?
May,
Nothing.
Maybe occasionally. No. No, I mean,
What would you drink?
Milk, water.
milk, lots of milk.
Yeah,
Probably
Big milk
water.
family.
A little bit of Diet
Juice?
Coke, lots of Turner's tea.
the Turner's tea.
I was talking with the principal at Penn Hills High School yesterday, and she said, I think something's going on at Turner's.
Oh, boy.
That they're poisoning the milk because it's every day after lunch the kids go nuts. She goes, so I think it's something sinister. And I said, you want me to talk to Chuck and Zeta? I mean, I can get to the bottom of this. But so you didn't experience that.
No, lots of Turners growing up for sure. Both milk and tea.
Just straight up tea. Because Turner's has like a galaxy of things now.
Diet iced tea.
Diet iced tea.
Yeah.
Penn Hill champagne. If you look on their thing, it actually looks like a champagne glass.
I'll have to look at that.
True story.
That's funny.
And then along came Kirra. Kirra, you are from, was it Plum or Gateway?
Florida. My life sounds way more boring compared to Tyler's. That was a really fun elevator pitch there.
Long elevator ride, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Stopped a couple times.
I grew up in Florida. I have a sister. We're very close. We look like twins now. It's kind of funny, actually.
And she's 2 years younger than you?
Yeah, like 2.5.
Okay.
And we never had that, how like some siblings like hate each other.
Sure.
We never had that.
Why do you
Maybe for
suppose
like
that is?
2 minutes or so.
Sure.
I don't know. I think honestly, because we were close in age, because we never had a big enough gap where we like weren't really friends. Like maybe there were 1 or 2 years where she would like snitch on me or something. But other than that, we were always really close.
Did you guys move around, or did you experience any kind of tragedies that kind of kept you and your sister together, or was it pretty much just you guys were just close no matter what?
I think we were just close no matter what. Like I always remember playing with her and like making jokes and stuff. So we've always been really close. But it's funny because we're completely different. Like if somebody, I think she said it once or something. She was like, if we weren't sisters, we probably wouldn't be friends. Like we really are polar opposites.
Not a lot in common,
No, not really.
other than blood.
Other than blood.
But you
surfing.
are very close, though.
Yeah. Super
yeah.
close. So yeah, my sister, my mom and my dad.
Your dad's a unique individual.
He is. He's like the world's most active 63-year-old. He surfs, mountain bikes, kiteboards, runs, lifts.
He's an adrenaline junkie for sure.
Yeah, he is. He does it all.
His career was or is?
He was a Marine, and he now works in procurement.
Procurement.
City
I probably
of Vero
didn't
Beach.
even say that right.
What is he procuring?
He's like a
That's
purchaser.
a good question.
Like a
Things.
Oh, okay.
Like a
buyer,
for the purchasing
for lack of a
department.
better term.
Sure.
Right.
Yes. But he's great. He's really funny. We always surf together. We do lots of
Isn't that crazy?
activities.
I mean, like people
Surfing with your
surf.
dad.
That's a thing.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right. But like, I don't know anybody else that surfs with their family.
Yeah.
the whole family too. My mom
Oh, yeah, whole
surfs.
family.
Yeah. That's
Still?
like some of Yeah.
Marie.
She's got it. They've
All
all
right.
got it. It's fun though. That's some of our fun like family memories.
Is there a time of year that's better than any other for surfing?
Yes, winter.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like right now is good. Sometimes summer.
Like when the hurricanes pass through.
It's,
Honestly,
it's
yes.
Those are
it's
pretty
been
big waves.
awesome
Yeah.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
While you're up here.
Yeah.
I'm not the adrenaline junkie though. I don't do
If you
any of
could, you'd
that.
be more of like a longboard.
Yeah, or just anything not
She's
scary.
she's a very good shortboarder though.
I don't want to be held underwater for long. I like to just have a really
Weirdo.
calm, simple experience.
Well, don't be a terrorist then.
There we have it.
That's what keeps her on the straight and narrow.
Yeah,
Dad would
just
always say.
that fear of.
That fear.
Yep. Tyler, have you taken up surfing while you've
Yeah.
been down there? Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I started visiting Florida, I was into it. I've snowboarded my whole life and a little bit of skateboarding.
How similar?
I would say like 50% similar. In terms of mechanics,
So
there's
like half a leg.
The
or like
edges are
one
different.
One of your legs is. There's a joke in there
You
somewhere.
opened up the
I
joke
couldn't
box
get to.
and you were
yeah,
like,
I was
huh,
like, wait.
I thought there was something in there.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing there.
Yeah, I mean it's similar but different.
Well, like in snowboarding, you
Similar
always
but
have to be on. 99% of the time, you have to be on an edge.
Right.
Whereas in surfing, you can
plane. Sure.
plane. They call it planing.
It is funny though. Speaking of, I mean, she's a very talented surfer. She'll never give herself the credit, but I mean, she used to compete in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
And now, how did that go? And by that I mean, like, was it for your school? Was there high school competitions?
No.
Or you just
Unlike Tyler, I didn't do any activities or sports. I mean, I surfed. Like, I skated.
for the school?
But yeah, for the
Organized,
school.
sure.
So my family was kind of like, you got to do something. And so I don't know if I necessarily was forced into doing surf competitions, but my family will tell you, and I will tell you, I was probably the worst person. It was miserable for me.
True.
No. I was a good surfer, but
in
I
your
was
competition.
miserable
The worst
to be
competitor,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, like I was anything competitive. I instantly am like, I have to get out of this. This is terrible. I quit. I'm not doing it. Like I don't have an ounce of competitive unless you're playing Uno. Then I want to win. Like I want to crush you. But other than that, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, you triggered me because I could go into some of the Uno controversy that's out there. That I've
I don't know
seen
all
on
the
Twitter
rules
and
and-
stuff like that. That you're not allowed to, like, you know, if it's like a draw 4, I can't put a 4 on that, which goes back to you, or there's like you can't double revert or something
Yeah.
like that. And like I'll watch whole threads on
Change
Some
Twitter.
the
people play
game.
dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, well, sure, I guess, or yeah, it's dirty. I mean, if you agree on the rules, that's the
True.
rules.
That's true.
But I want to go back to your competition. I don't want to jump ahead, but your career is based on encouraging other women predominantly. I mean, actually almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Is that, do you think, a reflection of your lack of competitiveness? That it's more, hey, I want everybody to go. I want everyone to get better, which is not to say that those of us, the rest of us at the table, which are pretty competitive. You're pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not at
You're
all.
a liar. And
No, I'm not. You're a bigger liar.
That's true. I'm a selectively competitive person. Do you think that's why that you're so good at what you do? Because if you do better than me, boy, that's great. I got to be a part of that. Like you win in that.
Oh, cool.
I'm asking. I'm not telling you.
No, but that is interesting. I think maybe yes, but also my main thing, because I started working out really, really young. That was me.
Even though we're jumping ahead, tell everybody what you do.
I created a online fitness business, you could call it, and it's called Strong Sisters United. And my whole goal and mission is, am I supposed to be looking at you guys when I say this or there?
No, just
Sorry,
us.
that just threw me off. My whole goal and mission is to help women.
Oh, wait, now we have to stop the podcast.
Do we have to
200.
restart?
No, we are 263 episodes in. We've
Yeah.
had Eric. How many guests? How many people have sat with us at the table? 50 by now? Maybe not 50. 40?
Sure.
Nobody's ever asked that question.
It's a good question, though.
It's a great question.
Where do I look?
Where do I look?
Yep.
For audio listeners, it doesn't matter. But
Not at all, but you get bonus points.
thank you.
And don't look at the camera. Unless you want to. See, you do what you want here.
I love it. So I created Strong Sisters United, and my mission is to help women feel comfortable and powerful in their body and really just honor their body through strength training specifically, but it could be any type of fitness. So that's kind of my whole goal and mission, and to be able to bring it to them to do at their house, and ideally for free on my YouTube channel. So that's my whole
And your YouTube channel is,
Strong Sisters United.
there you go.
And then you could probably search like Kirra Mitlo as well.
Which, can I just say, having known you before you were Kirra Mitlo, seeing, following you on Instagram, and it's like, she's a Mitlo now. I mean, I
Yeah.
was there, but it's still like, that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
I changed my name so quick on Instagram. Probably the night we got married, I was like, I'm a Mitlo, and I changed it. But yeah, so I created a fitness company brand. That sounds so crazy to say. It's an LLC, so I guess.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Yeah, and
It better be, because it's like what you do.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, but I don't know. I grew up surfing, got into fitness really young at like 15. I went the wrong route with that pretty shortly after that and got into bodybuilding, which for some people like Tyler is like a really cool, healthy experience. For me, it was not. It was
How
just,
so?
I was so focused on how I was looking and
Little
what I
body
was
dysmorphia
eating.
kind of stuff?
Terrible. And honestly, probably like an eating disorder, textbook eating disorder, for maybe like 4 years. Like it just set me up so bad. And so
Do you think that helps you now identify with some of your strong sisters?
yeah. In a
Like,
way, I'm grateful. That
Sure.
Yeah. Because that's another big thing that I lean into with my brand is like focusing on how you feel. Obviously, you want to be healthy, but it does not always matter how you look, really.
What clicked for you and made you realize after 4 years, wait a second, I got to change some things because this is not healthy?
I don't really know exactly what
No
really
aha
clicked.
moment?
Yeah, not really, but I was just sick of it. I was like, I'm so sick of constantly, like I knew I was in this bad cycle and I was doing these things. I felt like I had no control over my body and my health. And I was like, I think the way to get out of this is just to like let it all go. To be like,
Stop.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna track my calories.
I was going to say,
gonna
was it a lot of like
obsess.
calorie in, calorie out?
Yes, so much of that.
Do you
over
therefore
exercising.
discourage people from that in your current world? Because I know a ton
Um,
of people in the fitness world that's entirely calorie in, calorie out.
Yeah, I don't. Unless you really want to, you don't need to.
Right.
You know, I always say you can make simple changes just through adding in a vegetable to your meal or having protein like the size of your palm, little things like
Getting
that.
rid of the high fructose corn syrup.
Yes.
Exactly, that is
Switching to all
3D
seed oils
printing
like
body
my
fat.
doctor told
Yep.
me to do.
yeah, depending on your doctor.
it's very holistic what you're doing. It's nutrition. It's actual physical, fitness. What about mental or spiritual kind of?
I actually really want to lean into that. I haven't. Besides kind of sharing like my mental journey and my fitness journey, I would love to get into like the spiritual and maybe even like biblical aspect of like taking care of your body and fitness and stuff. I've talked to Tyler about that a lot. I would need to do like a lot of research and learning to be able to produce any like information on that. Probably connect with you about that, Jay. But it's something that I've thought would be really, really cool to do.
What's funny is as you say that, I'm like, I don't know. You don't have to become a guru. Like what you're doing is
Yeah.
already great because you're like, this is what motivates me.
Yeah.
This is what I know. You know, as a pastor, I had to be like, I always make the joke, I'm not classically trained, putting air quotes around it. Yeah, but I know what I know. And I teach what I know. If I
Yeah.
pretend like, you're not going to become, with all due respect, theologian.
No.
But like I think what you do right now when you share, which I'm always impressed what you share from your faith on your stories and stuff like that, which I know it's not officially the Strong Sisters United page, it's your page.
I would share it there though.
Right. But I mean, I would just say more of that. But the question is, how does a young buck from Plum end up marrying a superstar surfer from Florida? How could that possibly happen? Oh, wait, real quick. Did you guys go out to eat a lot growing up?
No. Oh my gosh.
Like, what was a special?
We just talked about that recently.
What was a
too.
special night out?
Subway.
No.
Yeah.
Subway turkey sub.
My family, I was telling Tyler the other day, because this is so embarrassing. I didn't know what a sloppy Joe was. I didn't know what.
Not that that's like.
Well, maybe not that
I'd
that's
like you to leave
great.
now.
But I just didn't know. Like, I grew up in a turkey sub household, peanut butter jelly, and healthy.
like
Like I
wraps.
never had Wonder Bread wraps. Yeah.
It was always like 12
milk.
grain.
But yes.
Lots of soy milk.
Yeah, we did have soy milk too. But it was funny because we just didn't do that. It was not at all how I was
Subway was
raised.
eating out.
Yes. Even to this day, my family, like I love going out to eat. So that's something that we like always prioritize within our means. But my family never did. Like my parents would be like, we'd rather just like maybe get takeout for somebody's birthday and stay at home.
Wow.
But I love it. I think it's the best thing ever.
Which, when we get to that, and we probably won't, it's interesting that you guys like to go out to eat because Tyler is a big time cook.
That's true.
He's good at what he does, and he's excellent. And in my family, I mean, it's relatively well known around here that I do a good job cooking. And now Rachel is opposite of you. She'd rather never go out to eat ever,
Really?
anytime, ever. But we've gotten to the point where it's like, well, we either have to spend $1 million to get food that's better than I can cook. Not to be arrogant
Yes,
in any way,
it's
shape, or
true.
form. Or that might even be the least bit healthy.
Yeah.
It's not even real. Again, back to your Joe Rogan thing with the food industry. When we got back from St. Lucia, Rachel and I were driving through Monroeville on Route 22, and I'm just staring. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "None of this is food. Like every restaurant,
Yeah.
it's not
Nope.
food."
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Yeah, we don't really we go to good restaurants.
right? You go where it's close to real food,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
locally sourced.
Yeah.
Swamp to table, get some gator.
Swamp to table.
So
How'd you get together?
right.
Yeah.
Back to that.
How do we
Boy
meet?
from Plum, girl from Florida.
Yes. So I guess to take it back to the beginning.
I was
My-
never very interested in women. No, go ahead.
I was a single guy, mid-20s, and my cousin,
My son.
Jay's son, my cousin, got a new girlfriend, pretty girl, and I met her for the first time, and I asked her if she had any sisters, and she said, "I do." Probably don't want to take that direction.
She's taken. She was
She's
in a
taken.
relationship.
Exactly. And so I said, "You got anything? What else you got?" You know.
I think this was on a Tuesday night.
Oh,
I
it
think.
was.
I remember
It
this
was.
conversation.
And so
You were there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah, I do remember this.
you do too?
Yeah. That's Tuesday night, man.
yeah. And
And
so
then your Instagram
right.
came
So
up, and
she
Tyler's
said,
like, "Oh,
she said, I do have a cousin that I think would be perfect for you, but she lives in Florida." And I was like, "Well, let's take a look."
Same country.
And so she pulled her Instagram up, and I was like, "I'd be willing to relocate." And gave her a follow on Instagram, and
Do you guys ever go back to that? Like, now, see, the thing that about you, Tyler, is we always say that Tyler will never die of a heart attack, but he'll give a lot of people around him a heart
Yeah.
attack because he doesn't worry, he doesn't stress, he doesn't care. A little bit from his grandfather, I
Sure.
think, little Poppy,
Sure.
you know. But like when you like sent her the follow, was it that like excitement? Like, is she gonna follow back? Is it
yeah,
gonna be-
for sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, hold on, stop. So, up to this point, you don't
I was just kind of, I had no idea.
did you have any heads up that this guy in Pennsylvania followed you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my cousin had told me, she was like, "Hey, there's this guy and he's a barber and he's really great. He's very successful and like, I think you really need to meet him." And I was kind of just like, okay, bye. Like, I just didn't know, I didn't
Right,
think
like
anything.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just just another guy. And so I think I tried to message her a couple times, and she would reply politely,
Aw.
but then it wouldn't, go anywhere. And then it was like a whole year, almost a calendar year, I think.
Really? I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I get word from my cousin's girlfriend at the time that she was coming into town, visit some family. I was like, "Joe, let's go. We got to make something happen here. Now's my chance."
Which what's funny too, when I was coming into town, my mom and I, it was my like spring break. So of course I'm like, "What do you want to do, Mom?" Because that's the
what
kind of girl I am.
That's what every young 20 does on their spring break.
Where are we going,
Let's go
Mom?
with
Visit
their
family.
mom and defer to their mom.
And she was like, okay, what about the Keys? And I was like, oh, that'd be fun. But like, you haven't been to Pittsburgh. Let's go to Pittsburgh. And so looking back at it too, I'm just like, I could have gone to the Keys. Like, I feel like anybody would be like, let's go to the Keys.
And you
But
didn't
I
say,
was so set on going to Pittsburgh.
but not because you wanted to meet Tyler.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's almost like God ordained it.
Yeah. So I was in a lot of discussion, lots of texting conversations, trying to set something up. And Joe, I think, mentioned that she needed a gym to go to,
Well,
right? Oh, guess what? I belong to a gym. I can get you in.
I have to be there, though. I can't just have you go in unsupervised.
The Planet Fitnesses are very exclusive.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
But so I guess she was talked into it. Her cousin talked her into it, said, look, he's not going to flirt with you. He's just going to, let you into the gym. You can meet him, whatever.
She also said, please do this. It will make his day.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to
Which
do
is
it.
Little bit
true.
of charity. It did make my day.
By the way, Mary Lynn, who not only sits at the edge at the head of the table, she says hello. So hello to you
Hi,
guys.
ML.
We missed you. And so we met at the gym. We met in the gym parking lot and had a great time. I was very respectful, I think.
You were.
And had a great workout. And then I got to meet her mom, her aunt
On that
in the
same
parking
trip?
lot. In that parking
in the
lot.
park-
in the parking lot, like
post-workout.
right there.
They were picking
Yeah.
her up, right?
That was great for you though, because you're great with adults.
I'm good with adults.
You went right in, shook hands. Nice to meet you,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yes.
Attaboy.
And so
And this is spring break of 2022?
no
2021.
2021.
2021, yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And so, but then that was it. We met in the parking lot, worked out, goodbye in the parking lot. I went home, and while I was home,
Did you put it on your vision board?
no, she messaged me. So she messaged first, saying like had a great time, blah,
Stop.
blah, blah.
So you work out, he meets your mom in the parking lot and everything else, and then where's your head?
Well, it sounds so weird because I don't know how I feel about like love at first sight, but I had love at first sight in that LA Fitness parking lot. But I was like, I can't let him get away. Like he has to know that I'm interested respectfully. And so I just,
Respectfully.
I was like, what can I say? Like, what do I think I was just like, hey, thanks so much for the workout. I don't know.
It doesn't matter
right.
to a guy for you to initiate it.
Yeah. Oh, it was
You could
huge.
have messaged him blabbity blue blue, and he'd be like, "Yeah, she reached out."
And then one cool thing I always remember is the next day I was at work, and I walked in so confident, right? Like we shared some, couple text mess or whatever. Well, maybe we texted.
You did like the Vince McMahon walking down the aisle, like you're the man.
But I walked into work, and I was working at the barber shop at the time, and I was like, guys, I just want you to know I met my wife yesterday. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, not exactly the most encouraging group of guys.
And if I remember, you were not in a great spot in life at this point in time.
Yeah,
I remember you being somewhat like you weren't you. Like
Nah, I was
you're pretty
disgruntled.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple long single years and just like felt. Actually, we were talking about this recently. We talk a lot.
It's almost
It's almost like we're married. But how I almost got to this point of like settling, like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just gonna be single and down for a while.
Living in Pittsburgh, cutting hair.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and so yeah, pretty cool timing. And yeah, so we met. Yeah,
confident in the barbershop.
confident in the barbershop.
I was just on cloud 9. And after we met, my family was obsessed with him. My mom, we had like a family dinner that night, and my mom was like,
Wait, the night you met him?
yes.
So
So I
still in
met him
Pittsburgh.
during the day. Yeah. I
Yeah.
left Pittsburgh the day after I met him, actually. But that night, my mom was like, you have to invite him to our dinner tonight. My uncle was like, please bring him. And everyone was, and some of them, they hadn't even met him yet. It was really just my mom that had met you. But they all were like, he has to be there. He has to come. And I was like, no, that's too soon. And
It
so,
would have been too soon, actually.
I would've went.
You would have gone in a heartbeat. That's a little bit much. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Thanks for the workout. Do you want to come to dinner? Meet my family.
All my family's gonna be there.
I can eat.
Come for the ring.
That's funny. And then I went home, and I just remember he was so sweet. He was like, oh, when you're on the plane, wave goodbye to me or something. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing ever. I was like, wow, what a guy. And then,
Did you?
Oh yeah, probably
wa-
cried a little. I was like,
You wait from the plane.
sweetest boy I just met. Man, not boy.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So I went home and we chatted. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, well, I'm coming to Pittsburgh. And so I flew.
Now this time it was to come
Yes.
for him.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So I flew to Pittsburgh and I think I met everybody, all of it. Well, I
Like,
met
right
Jay
away.
first, actually. And then I met all of your family like the next day or something.
Yeah, Halloween actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh gosh, I remember that.
yeah. She met everybody just right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was awesome. And I was like, these people are so nice and fun. And
And we still are. Like it wasn't a front.
yes, it's true.
It wasn't like we were all on our best behavior. Well, we don't
Yeah.
really have that. So
Yeah.
It
And
is
so
what it is.
that's how we met. Am I forgetting anything?
I mean, I think that's how we met. Yeah.
Yeah. And then some may say we fell in love fast or we got married quickly. But to that, I
It would
say,
have been 2 years, right?
yeah, we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about 2 years because I proposed at 9 months.
Yeah.
And then
was
we
it?
got-
Wait, it was 9 months.
It was 9 months. Yeah. Oh
That is a little quick. It didn't feel that quick though.
no, it really didn't feel that quick. It didn't feel that quick to me. And then it was a little over a year of engagement. So, yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah. And I just have to say, when you know, you know. It's very true, I think.
I can attest to that. Yep.
Yeah, your story's crazy like that. Hey, his was prophesized. Prophesied.
Prophesized. Yeah. Well, this is about you guys though. So
Yeah, but it's still interesting.
Yeah.
And like after I met Rachel, you know, it made no sense. I mean, she was 20, I was 25, you know, but it was like, you know, it just, you knew. It was just, my line was that God's fingerprints were all over Rachel. Like she was, you know, a wild, what's a female horse?
Philly.
Filly. She was a wild filly, let me tell you this one. But we broke her. I actually, real quick, I said about her today, about the book. We're going to have a party to launch the book. And she was like, well, I don't know anything about that. And I sort of protected her from a lot of this whole book thing. I said, well, honey, I'm trying to protect, you know, your security in regards to this book about this traumatic time in our life. But if I don't give you information, I'm excluding you. And she goes, yep. I was like, all right.
Great answer.
So, you guys were my newest superstar couple. I define a lot of my couples that I meet with and that for marriage training and whatnot. And I always say it's marriage teaching, you know, it's not marriage counseling or pre-marriage teaching. But
I see. Yeah.
tell the people who weren't there with us, which is everyone else, what were your expectations going in, and what did you take from our time together that you were like, oh, okay? Because when I say you guys were superstar, like I've had train wreck couples, I've had, you know, I have no idea why you're here couple, you have no chance couple, and I've had superstar couples. So tell me about that.
Going into it, I really...
I have to interrupt you again. One of the greatest nights was when you guys asked me to marry you. I was so blessed, so humbled, so honored, so respected. It was ridiculous.
Oh, I was
That's
so
cool.
happy.
So-
I thought about that recently, actually. Going in, I just really wanted, like, I have always dreamed of wanting a really great, happy, healthy marriage. Like, that's, some people are like, I always dreamed about being a mom. And like, now I dream about that. But I always was like, I want an awesome marriage. And I really wanted, going into it, I really just wanted to have like, I don't know, like a bulletproof marriage, knowing like nothing can take us down. Like we can go through it all. We'll make it through it all. That's really what I wanted.
Right. Yeah, I don't really know what I expected. I've had friends that got married and you hear about premarital counseling. And so I had a basic idea of some of the normal things.
Right.
And I didn't really necessarily expect that, but I maybe thought a general framework close to it. I knew that there would be an emphasis on emotional needs.
You've met me.
I've met you. But didn't necessarily know what that meant.
Right.
And I don't know. I really didn't have an expectation.
How did your
I
viewpoint
guess.
on emotional needs change from before? Because I don't want to say even that, but like feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like the great example I use is Duke, who would sit with us at the table. He's an engineer. And he said, I always thought that emotions and feelings were a nuisance. They got in the way. He goes, and then I realized they're the tools I need to use to solve all my problems. So, you were not an emotional person,
Sure.
I would say, growing up.
Yeah, for the most part, no. Yeah.
But you are in touch with your emotions. How were you raised in that regard?
Good question. Emotional, but not quite in touch with my emotions, or maybe not like feeling like I had no control, really.
Right.
Just like, oh, all these emotions, what's going on?
The phrase we use here is if you're not aware of your emotions, you'll be manipulated by your feelings.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm angry.
good.
Why are you angry? I don't know. I'm angry.
Sure.
And you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So how's it been in your first year? You've been equipped to meet each other's emotional needs, to not hurt each other, especially in your highest emotional needs. How has it come back up? Have you done a good job of loving each other in your first year?
I would say 100% yes. Yeah.
With Kirra's highest emotional needs are security and attention. Is that something that's always in the forefront of your mind, or I just know who Kirra is, and so I'm always going to take care of those things?
I know Kirra, and
Biblically now.
biblically no, and I
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
How do you provide for her security?
How to provide for her security. I make sure that I am around any time, or let's say we're in a situation where things might be making her uncomfortable, whether that be
I could give
with
a good
friends.
Eric just said this podcast.
Yeah, sure. You have any examples?
Yeah, like one thing that you did the other night that made me so happy. I hate walking into a restaurant and being the first person to walk in and having
yeah.
to talk to
Yeah.
the server or hostess. I hate it. I don't know what it is. I just can't stand doing it. And so Tyler will like hold the door for me and get me in, but still
Grab
talk
you
to
by
them
the
first.
push.
Yeah.
I had to learn the proper way to open the door for her, right? Open the door for the lady.
Sure.
But I learned it's open the door, walk in, hold the door.
Oh, you do that?
Let the lady walk in. That's what I do. That's what she likes.
Okay, so you walk through the door, then left hand, keep the door open. She walks in.
Correct.
And then you circle back in front of her.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait. So when you go to your seat, so the hostess is going to seat you. Do you like to go first, or that doesn't bother you?
Oh, I could care less. I don't even know.
Couldn't care less.
Couldn't.
But no, because Rachel, I have to go first. She doesn't want to go first. But that makes me look like a jerk.
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
So-
I'm gonna order first before
right.
my lady.
Right. So I have to, allow myself to look bad so that she can have her need for
Right.
security
Feel
met.
comfortable, sure.
Yeah.
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 But I think, a lot of the time I find myself, I can sense maybe when she's uncomfortable in a situation of some sort, whether public, whatever.
Sure.
And I can kind of swoop in and control. And maybe it's,
A hand on the knee.
a hand on the knee or a divergent, diverge the conversation.
Right, a Tylerism, if you will.
A Tylerism,
Like, hey,
sure.
I'll jump on the sword and I'll take the
Exactly.
attention away.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
what's cool that you just said that, I can sense. One of the things I don't think I taught you, well, I taught to you in general, but we've been talking a lot here at the table, is if you're sitting here going, well, I have a high need for attention, that's only one brain. You're only thinking about yourself. If you go, wow, Kirra has a high need for, attention as well, that's her second highest need. Okay, I'm thinking of her. But the third and the proper way is to be like, God, what's going on with Kirra right now? How can I help her feel a little bit more secure? And like you said, I'll just have this sense, it's God going, psst, she's really awkward right now. She's really uncomfortable. Go be with her.
Yeah. I remember you teaching us that. And I think that a lot. Like if you had a rough day at work or something and I'm like, I don't really know. like, I don't know what to do. Like, God, what could I do to comfort him, or what would bring him peace, or, anything like that. I think about that stuff all the time.
The fact that you just said that it's so remarkable, on many levels, because guess what? And I told you this when I taught you this. Nobody does it. Like, seriously, we've had people, we have to remember to do that.
Right. Just being aware of it.
Right. To be aware of it.
And then
to
intentional
say,
about it.
Yeah. Hey, God, what can I do? How can I come in? Like, that is you should be so commended by that. I want you both to realize that is as good as it possibly gets. But
That's advanced stuff.
I don't want to leave you off the hook. And you can answer for her if you want. Ty's highest emotional needs are attention, affection, and appreciation. How do you meet his needs for those three things? Any of those three things?
Okay, wait.
And you're free to answer for her if you want, just like she answered for you. Attention, affection, appreciation.
I think kind of similar to Tyler. I like to think that I just kind of know Tyler. So I know, like, and he does so much for me too. So I'm always like showing a lot of appreciation.
Is she good at that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even for things that I want, like I cook. I love cooking. I do it every day.
But she still expresses her appreciation
Every day,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And she's great at it online. Like,
I was
she
gonna say
lifts
that's
you
the
up
other
so
thing.
high.
Yeah.
People are probably just like, she's obsessed with him, and I am. But I'm just
She's also always apologizing that she's not cooking, and I'm like, no,
Let's be
I
honest.
want to.
It's better that I do it.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And I'm not saying you're not a good cook,
Oh no.
but the Mitlo man likes to
Yeah.
make his own food.
We like our domain in the kitchen. You know?
They know what they're doing. But yes, I always make sure I'm showing appreciation. And I feel like something too that we both do that I think maybe not necessarily, maybe comfort, it could be considered, but being very like present when we're talking to each other, or when we say goodbye to each other, or whenever like asking like, how was your day? That type of stuff. Like,
I mean, that comes across to me as per your emotional needs as attention. Like you
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
I'm paying attention to you right now. It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
inherently belonging, which is I value you as my husband or my wife. It's no, I'm locked in on you right now.
yeah.
Because you both have differently a lot going on, and so for you to have those moments, I think is very good to pay that attention to each other.
Yeah, Tyler's really good at that. Did I answer this question?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
You did.
I'd say so.
So as we wrap it up, what are you guys looking forward to moving forward, both as a couple and as individuals?
I think we're both really looking forward to continue growing in our faith and our faith community, which has been awesome. Like we've really quickly built an awesome community, really cool friends.
Is that the one you guys were starting like this time last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And now we have a really cool group of just very well aligned couples that we hang out with. And I think just getting more into that, we're excited for. We're excited for growing our businesses together. Excited for what else you got? What else are you excited for?
This is good.
Moving back to Pittsburgh. Go on.
Oh my gosh, why is my brain blanking? We literally on our 1-year anniversary at dinner, we're like, okay, let's list out some things that we like want to implement in the next year, like that we're excited for in the next year. I feel like you just nailed a lot of them.
Well, that was a lot.
It's a fair amount.
So
Yeah.
that's cool. So Strong Sisters United. Anything else you want to plug? Anything else you want to get out there? Got any merch?
I don't.
You're not the only one. Am I right?
Yeah, we'll get Chris on that.
I need it. I really do.
Chris is about 6 months into doing our merch.
6 months.
Does he want another project?
Go ahead. Give it to him.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, Strong Sisters United, if you, or maybe your daughter or your wife.
But what if you're not already an athlete? Can they come to you?
Oh, absolutely.
So you
don't have to
amend
be-
things to people who are just beginning?
Yes, absolutely. I like to say all you have to do is show up and press play. I'll teach you everything. I'll walk you through the movements, anything, anything that's going on in your head, I'm probably going to be saying it.
Rachel is giving you a plug, and this is this. I'm glad it's over the 1 hour mark, and we got to wrap it up because by now most people have kind of stopped listening because I'm going to get into trouble, and I don't care because I'm a Mitlo man. Am I right?
That's right.
That's
I don't
right.
care.
So somebody recently, I'm being safe, commented Rachel on her posterior, and it's somebody close to her, not me. And they said, mine's just terrible. And so Rachel's like, well, you gotta go to Strong Sisters United. She's like, you gotta,
Nice.
you can just, the thing is, and she said, you can do it in your house. And she gives you breaks during your workouts. She goes, you get 1 minute breaks in your workout and you can tighten up that whole area down there. So she was just selling your business.
That's great.
And saying that you get breaks and you can do it in your house and you don't have to go to the gym.
That's
a
right.
Good plug.
Yes. And how can people get their finances taken care of by you?
Right. I run a financial planning practice and help people secure financial goals. And I do a lot of work with business owners. I don't know if you have a big business owner crowd, but yeah.
There's lots of sponsors. They're lining up to
Perfect.
sponsor this podcast.
Perfect. You could say that. You could say that's my niche, though.
Some would say niche.
Yeah,
I say niche.
I'm a nicher.
So reach out to Tyler.
Reach out
all
to
the
me.
socials.
Yep, all my socials, LinkedIn. Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, that's it for episode 264. Join us live next Wednesday at 8:45 or so for episode 264. Bye.
Sometimes.
Whatever the next one is.
Chris.
Between now and then, please give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. It's good for you. And thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome. Bye.
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 Bye.